Hello, everybody. How are you? How was your week? And how was your, not was, but what plans do you have for the last days of summer? Hello, hello. What do you plan to do this summer, during your last days of summer? Let's have a look how many people will join us today. It's our last webinar of the week. So hello, everybody. So, what I also wanted to ask you about is about the format of your studying. Probably you are studying at school, everybody. So what will be the format of your studying? Will you study offline or will you study online? Do you know this? Because nobody is sure about the new wave of the COVID. What about you? Nobody's joining us today. Maybe I'm going to spend the last webinar alone. Okay, nothing happens. Fine. So let's start. So it's been our last webinar, and this week you've learned ing and infinitive, verb plus ing or infinitive, and stages in life, different stages in life. Can you spot, please, the difference of your attentiveness? I'm going to watch with you. What's the difference between them? I'm just here. So she here. Good. Let's get to the grammar point. First of all, I would like to talk with you about what's a gerund. A gerund is the noun form of a verb that ends in ing. For example, playing, dancing, eating. But that's just according to most of grammar, not all ing forms are gerunds. Gerund is something that have a noun, characteristics of a noun. For example, falling grades. Falling grades at school, for example, right? I had 5 and then I had 2. So I had falling grades. For example, if we have ing form like playing, dancing, eating, writing, I love going out, it's not a gerund, it's participle. Gerund is here, a subject of a sentence. A direct object of a sentence is not a gerund. Or the preposition interested in hearing instead of taking, that will be a gerund. All the rest will be considered to be participle. Be careful with these two forms because they are different. Right away, this is confusing for students as they are used to seeing that form as the continuous or progressive form of the verb. She's eating, they were dancing. So here's just the progressive form of the verb. However, a gerund is a noun that is the subject or object of the sentence. Cooking is my favorite hobby. That will be gerund. I hate studying. That will be participle. What about the infinitive? So speaking about the usage, the gerund and participle forms of verbs are these one. Subject as a subject, used as a subject of a sentence, the only form, non-finite it's called, is a subject of a sentence, and it will be gerund. Writing in English is difficult. Watching TV is my favorite pastime. Direct object will be a participle. I like writing in English. I love going out to restaurants. Subjects as a subject complement. My cat's favorite activity is sleeping. One of his duties is doing homework. As an object of a preposition, that will be gerund, of course. We shall be interested in hearing your comments. Would you like to walk instead of taking the bus? And after certain expressions, my cat's favorite activity is sleeping. One of his duties is doing homework. After certain expressions, what's certain expressions? That's not very clear to me, but let it be. Fine. What about the infinitive? Infinitive is also a non-finite form of the verb. For example, to play, to dance, or to eat. Some people call the whole infinitive the base form. That's not true. Base form is base form. Infinitive is infinitive. These are two different forms in grammar. Don't call it the base form. Something that you see in the dictionary is called a base form. Something which is used after the verb is the infinitive. Right. Infinitives can also be the subject or object of the sentence. All verbs except for modals have both a gerund, participle, or infinitive form. The trick is deciding which form we need. Let's focus now more on gerunds participle, let's call it ing forms and infinitives. Right. When we use the infinitive as a subject, it usually sounds very formal or very emphatic. Emphatic. To dance is to leave. To complete your thesis is your number one priority. However, this is much less common than just using the ing form as the subject. Completing your thesis should be your focus right now. Here's so how to use ing as objects. Here's another fun rule that has no exception. Well, except for modal verbs, but modal verbs therein has own special exception. Whenever there are two verbs together, one right after the other, the second verb must be either in ing form or in a participle form, in an infinitive form. What I mean is we can never say she wanted to go. She wanted to go, right? They like run. They like running. It's not correct. The second verb has to change, and the first verb dictates what form the second verb will be. To make these sentences correct, we have to say she wanted to go. They like running, or they like to run. But why? And why can't we say they wanted going? The simplest answer is because there are certain rules we have to follow. So let's take a look at some of the clear-cut rules when it comes to ings and infinitives. So for all these rules, if students ask you why, unfortunately, the answer is just that these are the rules. There is no reason. This is just how the grammar is, whether we like it or not. So, rule number one, some verbs must be followed by ing. I always start with the verb enjoy because it's perhaps one of the that is the most familiar to us. We must say he enjoys drinking coffee. We can never say he enjoys to drink coffee. Other verbs in this category include discuss and anticipate, despise, consider, deny. So the thing with enjoy is that enjoy means our preference. Everything which is connected with our preference will be followed by ing. Love, hate, despise, can't stand, love, enjoy, to be in love with, hate, dislike, like, will be followed by ing. Some verbs must be followed by infinitives. I like to start with want and need because they may be the most common. She needed to sell her house. We cannot say she needed selling her house. That's nonsense. You wanted to change your class. You wanted change in your class is incorrect. Other verbs in this category include agree, ask, decide, expect, and plan. Some verbs can be followed by both ings and infinitives with no change in meaning. For example, like, love, hate. This is the easiest category because it really doesn't matter. The meaning is exactly equal between I hate cleaning and I hate to clean. Prefer, continue, begin is the same. Some verbs can be followed by both ings and infinitives, but the meaning changes. This is the trickiest rule, and likely the one that will require the most explaining as well as the most practice. I find lots of examples helpful and encourage the students to create their own examples as well. The plus side, though, is that there are very few words on this list, and we'll just look at the main 5. So, stop. He stopped smoking. It means he smoked for a time, but then he quit. And he stopped to smoke. He took a break from something else he was doing to have a cigarette. He stopped walking in order to smoke. Try. We tried opening the door, but it still wouldn't budge. We probably tried other options as well. This is just one of the options, like try experimenting. We tried opening the door. We tried experimenting with the different options. We tried to open the door, but we couldn't. The only thing we tried was to open the door. This activity is probably very difficult to manage. It's very difficult to do, and it's very almost impossible to complete. It's that's why when you experiment and something can happen, and you know that the result probably will probably be successful, then use ing. If you know that the result will be unsuccessful, then use try to do something, because it's very difficult. Forget. She forgot locking the door. She did lock the door, but then she forgot she had done it. ing here means something that you did in the past. She forgot to lock the door. She didn't lock the door because she forgot. Remember, she remembers calling her friend. She called her friend and she remembers that she did. So the same with forget. And she remembered to call her friend. She had a list of things to do. Calling her friend was one of them and she did it. Regret. They regret letting him go. They let him go, fired him, but then after they felt bad and wished they hadn't. And they regret to let him go. They haven't let him go yet, but they will, even though they feel about it. Right. Some students may notice a pattern at this point. One way to think about when to use the ing and when to use the infinitive with these words is that the action of the gerund, the second verb, is the first action, and the first verb is the second action. For example, first he smoked, but then second he stopped. With infinitives, it's the opposite. The first verb is the first action, and then infinitive is the second action. First, he stopped whatever he was doing, and second, he smoked. Right. My advice is to focus on the verbs that have clear rules, the ones discussed here. After students feel uncomfortable with those, they can start practicing the rest of the verbs, and unfortunately, those simply require memorization and practice. You can find complete lists online, but I don't encourage students to memorize the rule for 200 and plus verbs because it's largely a waste of time. I recommend they learn these, and after that, try to pay attention when they're listening to native speakers or watching movies to be aware of them. One more point I'd like to mention is that we can be done with ings and infinitives. Let's look at my favorite rule to tell students. It's my favorite because there are no exceptions. Prepositions must always be followed by a noun. Gerunds are nouns. Therefore, if we want a verb to follow a preposition, we must change it to its gerund form. I must say, I'm interested in teaching. I cannot say I'm interested in to teach, right? I'm interested in teach, also not correct. After you've gone over all these fun rules and examples with students, it's really just all about practice. A combination of practices are the best. Right. So what I wanted to show you now is a list that I made for my students. Just let me find it. So I have prepared here the groups with the most popular forms of INGs, infinitives, and bare infinitives without to. So let's have a look together. Let's just okay. So the first group: admit, appreciate, avoid, celebrate, consider, defend, delay, discuss, dislike, enjoy, escape, evade, explain, fancy, fear, finish, forgive, imagine, keep, mention, miss, postpone, practice, prevent, recall, recommend, resist, risk, suggest, tolerate. So these these verbs are with ing only. Let's go to another one. Another group is fixed expressions. Be busy, be worse, can't help, can't stand, don't mind, feel like, have trouble, how about, use, for example, it's no use or it's good. It's no use or it's use. There is no point. All of them also go with ing. It's worth doing. So they are not verbs, but they are phrases or collocations that need ing form after them. Again, be keen on, blame for, burst out, decide against, dream about, get used to, give up, insist on, look forward to, prevent from, succeed in, think about, and all other verbs with prepositions are used with ing. It's a number one rule. Another: agree, afford, appear, arrange, bag, choose, dare, decide, expect, fail, hesitate, hope, learn, manage, need, offer, plan, prepare, pretend, promise, prove, refuse, seem, swear, tend is without full infinitive. To do something. For example, choose to do something, hesitate to do, offer to do, seem to do. Again, be good, be lucky, be the first, be necessary, be something, have the chance, have the opportunity. It's time to do something, right? After certain verbs with an object, for example, Anne's parents encouraged her a university abroad to study or studying, right? Let's have a look. Advise, allow, ask, cause, convince, encourage, expect, forbid, force, invite, leave, motivate, order, permit, persuade, remind, teach, tell, and warn. To do something, right? After the object, it will be to do. If we want to express purpose or aim, we use to do something. For example, I came here to win. I do this to win, or I don't know, to prepare or to do something. After modal verbs, bare infinitive. After make, let somebody do something, would rather, had better, do something, right? And one more rule, which is quite important here. If you have see, hear, or any other verbs that mean senses, hear, smell, watch, see, listen, and action in progress, and if especially you see a part of an action, not a whole action, you use ing form here, right? I heard him singing in the bathroom when I arrived home. So it doesn't mean that you stood and listened to the whole song that he was singing in the bathroom. It means that you listen to the part of the action. And again, here, see the whole action from the very beginning to the end. It means that you have to use bare infinitive. I heard her sing beautiful cover versions of 3 of my favorite songs at a concert yesterday. It means that from the very beginning to the very end, you listen to her singing beautifully different versions. Cool. Thanks a lot. Now, let's have a look at the explanation and at the examples from some TV series that we can see. I wanted to show you from movies and TV series. That's so nice here.
Ну, як враження? Незвичніше за незвичне. Бодо, буде вау.
Моршинська – мінерально збалансована природна вода. Пий Моршинську щодня. Будь у формі.
You enjoy working in the laundry?
No, sir, not especially.
You enjoy working in the laundry?
No, sir, not especially.
Get my stuff down the laundry and shine my shoes. I want them looking like mirrors. Get my stuff down the laundry and shine my shoes. I want them looking like mirrors.
And still, he kept sending those letters. And still, he kept sending those letters.
Beatrice, stop reading and put on your uniform.
Father, I don't feel well.
Beatrice, stop reading and put on your uniform.
Father, I don't feel well.
Every choice could bring you closer to the center or send you spiraling to the edges, to madness. Every choice could bring you closer to the center or send you spiraling to the edges, to madness.
Bypass the system and start checking raw feeds, floor by floor. Bypass the system and start checking raw feeds, floor by floor.
First, get rid of your boys.
Why?
I dislike being outnumbered. It makes for too much stupid in the room. First, get rid of your boys.
Why?
I dislike being outnumbered. It makes for too much stupid in the room.
I don't want Mr. Reese spoiling everything. I don't want Mr. Reese spoiling everything.
I can't resist showing us his face. I can't resist showing us his face.
I got her cooking lessons a few years ago, and she ended up teaching the teacher a few things.
Cooking lessons. Romantic.
I got her cooking lessons a few years ago, and she ended up teaching the teacher a few things.
Cooking lessons. Romantic.
I keep getting these stomach aches. They come and go like every few minutes. I keep getting these stomach aches. They come and go like every few minutes.
I keep hearing stories about you. I keep hearing stories about you.
How is she?
That bullet bounced around quite a bit, but it missed hitting anything important. You were very lucky.
Oh, shit.
That bullet bounced around quite a bit, but it missed hitting anything important. You were very lucky.
I kept pushing things. I wanted to go deeper and deeper. I wanted to go further. I kept pushing things. I wanted to go deeper and deeper. I wanted to go further.
I kept saying, come on, Celeste, you can do it. He's going to change. You've got to stay. It's going to be good for the kids. You stay for them. I kept saying, come on, Celeste, you can do it. He's going to change. You've got to stay. It's going to be good for the kids. You stay for them.
Right. I like just the examples that you can see in different movies and TV series. Right. And another one from a game show. Just love game shows and the different examples from a real life.
Неперевершений смак і аромат свіжого.
Wait. We don't have premium access or premium subscription. My personal account.
Hello and welcome to today's grammar game show. I'm your host, Will, at least if I'm able to. And of course, let's not forget Leslie, our all-knowing voice in the sky.
Hello, everyone.
Tonight, we're going to be asking 3 questions about
Verb patterns. When 2 verbs are used together in English, which forms do they take?
Okay, now let's meet our contestants.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maya.
Contestant number 2.
Hello, everyone. My name's Helen.
Welcome back, Maya. 4 in a row. Wow! We've never had a contestant on for so long. We're all starting to get a little bit sick of your face. Okay, let's get going. And don't forget, you can play along at home too. Our first round is a matching round. Listen to each of these sentences and tell me what form the verb dance takes in each one. I can.
Dance.
Correct.
I enjoy.
Dancing.
Correct.
I would like.
To dance.
Correct.
I intend.
To dance.
Correct.
I must.
Dance.
Correct.
I can't help.
Dancing.
Correct.
Leslie.
All correct. Well done. Some verbs, such as modal verbs like can and must, are followed by a bare infinitive. Some verbs, such as would like and intend, are followed by a full infinitive. Finally, some verbs, such as enjoy and can't help, are followed by an ing form. These are called verb patterns.
A pattern is something that repeats itself over and over again, like calling my ex at 4 a.m. Well done, but if you want any points, you'll have to fulfill your promise.
Promise.
Why, to dance, of course. All right, not bad. Maya, I liked your finger thing there. And Helen, all good moves. Have 2 points each. Now on to our second question. Happy, terrible, and wonderful are all what types of word? How does this relate to verb patterns?
They're all adjectives. Aren't adjectives always followed by an ing verb?
Leslie?
Sorry, almost. They are indeed adjectives. When an adjective is followed by a verb, its form is usually a full infinitive. For example, it's wonderful to see you.
Wonderful to see you too, Leslie, wherever you are. Sorry, Helen, I'm going to have to take away 10 points.
Oh, wait, look.
Yes, you know, I used to have a pet octopus. 30 points to you. No one likes an attention seeker, Maya. Here comes our third question. Look at these sentences and tell me what kind of verb pattern follows each one. I believe without. Turn off the alarm before. I want to sit instead of.
They all end with a preposition. After the preposition, we use an ing verb.
Leslie?
Yes, Maya. As Maya just mentioned, we usually follow prepositions with ing verbs and not full or bare infinitives. I believe without seeing. Turn off the alarm before leaving. I want to sit instead of standing.
Well done, Maya. I'd give you some points, but I don't want you to win. And that brings us to the end of today's grammar game show. Let's count out the points. And the winner is Helen with more than Maya. Well done. Here's what you've won.
It's a tin opener. Look at that handle action.
Wow! An opener for a tin can be useful in oh so many situations. And Maya, my oldest friend, I wanted you to keep winning forever and ever. But alas, are you happy?
I don't want to.
Watch out for the squirrels. It looks like we'll need another contestant. Thanks for joining us. Say goodbye, Leslie.
Goodbye, Leslie.
Oh, see you next time.
Right. So as you can see, cool. So let's practice a little bit. Let's put these verbs in the box in the correct non-finite form. Infinitive or ing. He admitted on the test. You should avoid so much meat. Please consider your house if you need money. I detest up when it's dark outside. She denied the taxi without paying. I enjoyed on the beach all day. My sister fancies a pop star. We finished our essays before noon. The job in the supermarket involved at night. I don't mind homework. My colleague kept all the time. It was annoying. I took my umbrella. I didn't want to risk wet. She practiced the piano all day. I really appreciate your advice. Complain, become, sell, play, cheat, eat, lie, tell, work, get, leave, write, do, wake, and have. He admitted cheating on the test. You should avoid eating so much meat. Please consider selling your house if you need money. I detest waking up when it's dark outside. She denied leaving the taxi without paying. I enjoyed lying on the beach all day. My sister fancies playing, becoming a pop star. We finished writing our essays before noon. The job in the supermarket involved working at night. I don't mind doing homework. My colleague kept complaining all the time. It was annoying. I took my umbrella. I didn't want to risk getting wet or becoming wet. Oh, getting wet. She practiced playing the piano all day. I really appreciate having your advice. Right, having your advice. Good. Let's check. Eating, selling, waking, living, lying, becoming, writing, working, doing, complaining, getting, playing, having, and telling. We don't have this sentence. She couldn't resist telling. We didn't have them. Let's play this game. Just let me share the screen with you. So let's have a look. I like, I don't know, I like going out with my friends, and what I also like. I like cooking and going to the gym when I'm relaxed, when I have a lot of time ahead of me. What page do you enjoy following on Instagram or TikTok? I enjoy following celebrity blogs, not celebrity, but blogs about celebrities. And I enjoy watching something about psychology, something about interviews like Dude, some other interviewers. I hate when I hate people complaining all the time, or I hate people pretending that they know everything. I love eating pakoka. What series do you enjoy watching? I enjoy watching some rom-coms, like romantic comedy films, movies. Rom-coms are very relaxing TV series. My cousin hates, I don't know, what page do you enjoy following? Okay. I love watching, we said. They don't mind making the bed. She dislikes vacuuming the floor. He hates cleaning the room. My sister brother hates I don't know, like cleaning, tidying the room also, or making the bed. He just hates. She enjoys walking the dog. What food do you hate eating? I hate eating smoked fish. Hate eating smoked fish. I just don't like it. I don't want to eat it all the time. They like washing the dishes, and they don't like washing the dishes. What page do you enjoy following on Instagram, TikTok? Right. Okay, right. So I think it's more or less clear with this topic. Now let's get to another part.
Your mind around your life is pretty hard because you're up to your neck in it. It's like trying to understand the ocean. Your mind around your life is pretty hard because you're up to your neck in it. It's like trying to understand the ocean while learning how to swim. On most days, you're busy just keeping your head above water, so it's not easy to figure out what to do with your life and how to spend your time. There are a million distractions: your family, friends and romantic partners, boring work, and exciting projects, video games to play and books to read. And then there's your couch that somebody needs to lie on. It's easy to get lost. So let's take a step back and look at your life from the outside. The average Kurzgesamt viewer is around 25 years old, which is a pretty good time in the life of most people. The insecurities of the teenage years have begun to recede. Maybe you find yourself in a job or a long-term relationship. Maybe you've started a family or are working on an advanced degree. Maybe you're not doing any of that and still want to enjoy life, whatever that means to you. Or maybe you feel stuck and don't know where to go yet. About 1 in 20 people watching this video will get to live to 100. Let's assume you are one of the lucky ones, which means you had a total of 5,200 weeks of life at your disposal when you were born. You spent the first 600 weeks of your life being a kid and 400 being a teenager. During this time, you were pretty useless for society and also not very free to make your own decisions. As a payoff, you were somewhat spared from the consequences and responsibilities of adulthood. Mostly because well-meaning adults protected you by cleaning up your mess and giving you time to find yourself. This time is necessary to make you, at least in theory, a functioning human. Although most people probably don't feel like that after puberty. In any case, by the time you're 20, over 1,000 of your 5,200 weeks have passed. Depending on what you aspire to, at this point you're either working already or have entered further education. The amount of fun you can have in this phase of your life varies a lot. If you pick up a trade or need to work to support yourself or others, the serious side of life begins earlier. If you go to university, you get to push back work life a bit longer. In any case, most people start working for real in their 20s at the latest, which begins the productive or potentially grindy or soul-crushing period of your life. People tend to work until the age of 65, which means that you'll spend at least 2,000 weeks of your life with serious adult work, hopefully in a job that makes you feel good and appreciated or that makes the world better. This is such an important thing that we'll look at work and how you can try to find a satisfying career in another video. This is the main block of life for most people, the time when you might have kids and travel a bit, and climb the career ladder, and build a house, may get divorced and fall in love again. In this phase, you transition from being young to middle-aged to old. Not old, but the young old of your 60s. At 65, you've used up 3,400 of your 5,200 weeks. The last phase of your life begins. If you've managed to acquire enough wealth to retire, in theory, you're now free to do whatever you like for up to 1,800 weeks. But of course, this is not how it works for the majority of you watching this video. 19 out of 20 people will not live to 100. The average lifespan in the US is 79. In Germany, it's 81. In Japan, 84. In Brazil, it's 75. If you die at age 80, which is still not bad, you only have 780 weeks of freedom after you retire. That's roughly as many weeks of freedom as an old person as you spent as a child. Unfortunately, disease and the tiredness of age trip you up here, because with old age, the human body begins to decline sharply. For example, the vast majority of cancer-related deaths occur in people over 70. If you bet all your fun cards on being free and happy in your retirement, you might be bitterly disappointed. And all of this is still assuming things work out and you even get to grow old. You can drown in a pool at age 7, get cancer at age 32, die in a car crash at age 48. You can fall from a ladder at age 60. Every day the universe rolls a bunch of dice for every human, and every day someone somewhere on this planet rolls a critical failure and their life ends that day. The older you get, the more dice are rolled for you. Usually when you swim through the ocean that is your life, you don't think about all of this too much, and that's fine. Life is engaging enough by itself, and the future is this undefined weird thing. But thinking about it from time to time is helpful in refocusing on what you want to do and to minimize regrets you will have when you look back. And to remind you that if you don't use your time today, you might not get a chance to use it tomorrow. Life is complicated, and it's hard to make decisions between all the things and people that are important to you. This has become painfully obvious to billions of people during the coronavirus pandemic. If you respected social distancing, so many things that we took for granted were not available anymore. Traveling and public places and eating out and seeing friends and meeting new people. Spending time together became limited and precious. But actually, the time you have with the people you love is already precious. Think of your parents. As a child, you spent basically every day with them. Your time spent together begins to decline as you transition and become a teenager and fight to develop your own identity. But as teenagers, you probably still see them regularly, which changes as you enter your 20s when most people move out for university, for work, or just to be on their own. If you're making an effort to be with your parents for 2 full weeks each year for the rest of their lives, which covers the main holidays, birthdays, and a bit extra, you still have already spent more than 90% of the time you will ever spend with them, even if they grow pretty old. If they die earlier, or if you see them only a few days each year, this number shrinks even more. So, in all likelihood, the vast majority of time you will ever spend with your parents has passed. The same holds true for your siblings or old friends that moved to the other side of the country. You're at the tail end of the time with some of the most important people in.
Hello. Something has happened with the stream, so I will stop a video. Okay, fine. So the life calendar, sometimes life seems really short, and other times it seems impossibly long. But this chart, this life calendar that you saw on YouTube, in the video, seems impossibly long. This chart helps to emphasize that it's most certainly finite. Those are your weeks, and they're all you've got. Given the fact, the only appropriate word to describe your weeks is precious. There are trillions upon trillions of weeks in eternity, and those are your tiny handful. Going with the precious time, going with the precious theme, let's imagine that each of your weeks is a small gem. Right. Let's imagine that each of your weeks is a small gem, like a 2 millimeters, 0.5 carat diamond. If you multiply the volume of a 1.5 carat diamond by the number of weeks in 90 years, it adds up to just under a tablespoon. Can you imagine a tablespoon in this life, in a tablespoon? Looking at this spoon of diamonds, there is one very clear question to ask. Are you making the most of your weeks? In thinking about my own weeks and how I tend to use them, I decided that there are 2 good ways to use a diamond. Enjoying the diamond, building something to make your future diamonds, or the diamonds of others more enjoyable. In other words, you have this small spoonful of diamonds and you really want to create a life in which they're making you happy. And if a diamond is not making you happy, it should only be because you are using it to make other diamonds go down better, either your own in the future or those of others. In the ideal situation, you are well balanced between number 1 and number 2, and you're often able to accomplish both simultaneously, like those times when you love your job. Of course, if a diamond is enjoyable, but by enjoying it, you are screwing your future diamonds. That's not so good. Likewise, if you are using diamond after diamond to build something for your future, but it's not making you happy and seems like a long-term thing with no end in sight, that's not great either. But the worst possible way to use a diamond is by accomplishing neither number 1 nor number 2 above. Sometimes neither happens when you are in either the wrong career or the wrong relationship. And it's often a symptom of either a shortage of courage, self-discipline, or creativity. Something neither happens because of a debilitating problem. We've all had neither weeks and they don't feel good. And when a long string of neither weeks happens, you become depressed, frustrated, and hopeless, and a bunch of other upsetting adjectives. It's inevitable to have neither weeks, and sometimes they are important. It's often a really bad neither week that leads you to a life-changing epiphany. But trying to minimize your neither weeks is a worthy goal. The life calendar. One of the ways we need to end up in neither land is by not thinking about things hard enough. So one of the most critical skills is continual reflection. And self-awareness. Otherwise, you can fall into an unconscious rut. And waste a bunch of precious diamonds. To help both you and ourselves stay conscious and avoid neither land, we've created a life calendar that lays out every week of your life on one sheet of paper. We don't typically bring products into post, but in this case, they go hand in hand. This calendar is a 24 feet by 36 feet poster on high quality post paper made to be written on and last for decades. It costs $20 and you can buy it. The purpose of encouraging regular reflection, we hope the calendar can help you feel more oriented in your life, help you set goals and hold yourself to them, and remind you to be proud of yourself for what you've accomplished and grateful for the diamonds in your spoon. How you use the calendar is totally open for creativity. Highlight the weeks in the past in different colors to segment them into life chapters. High school, for example, college, job, first job, second job, new city, engagement, marriage, or maybe a whole other conception of what a life chapter means to you. You can also mark special boxes where key turning points happened, like pivotal moments. Write something in each week's box as it goes by. The boxes are large enough to write a few words in with a sharp pencil. Plot out goals for the future by making a mark on a future box and visually seeing exactly how many weeks you have to get there. If you are a new parent, it might be fun to make one of your child so they can look at it later and have some info on what happened in the first few years of their life. Or maybe you'd rather leave it totally untouched. Both the week chart above and the life calendar are a reminder to me that this grid of empty boxes staring me in the face is mine. We tend to feel locked into whatever life we're living, but this palette of empty boxes can be absolutely whatever we want it to be. Everyone you know, everyone you admire, every year in history, they did it all with that same grid of empty boxes. The boxes can also be a reminder that life is forgiving. No matter what happens each week, you get a new fresh box to work with the next week. It makes me want to skip the New Year's resolutions. They never work anyway, and focus on making New Week's resolutions every Sunday night. Each blank box is an opportunity to crush the week, a good thing to remember. So, life is precious, always. Life is precious, and the thing I want you to remember is always think of the weeks that were great. Always think, because life is beautiful. Don't be afraid to live your life to the full. Thanks a lot for summertime. Thanks a lot for spending with me 3 months of your life. That's probably like 9 weeks of your life. Thanks a lot. And see you somewhere in the Study Academy. Congratulations. Goodbye.